All right, module number 1. This is going to be about your fear of public speaking. Let's talk about what makes people afraid to speak up or share their thoughts when the spotlight is shown on them. We know today that the fear of public speaking is attached to a lot of fears, but these kinds of fears are normal to most of us, regardless of your age, your culture, or your race. Examples of these are fear of rejection, the fear of being judged, the fear of being seen as valuable, the fear of being different, the fear of looking stupid, or the fear of being inferior. Give me about 3 seconds and try to recall, guys, the last time that when you didn't want to speak up, it was simply because you were fearful of being judged by other people. So, what makes us scared to speak in public? In this slide, you will notice that there are 3 psychological reasons that I will attribute it to. Now, what I wanted to do is that every time I share one theory, I want you to ask yourself, does that theory apply to me? And what am I doing about it today so I can become a great public speaker? Here's the first one. And the first one is reaction to norm. Now, by evolution, we know that during the olden times, the Homo habilis, the Homo erectus, the saber-toothed times, when we all lived in caves, for example, our fear of public speaking has evolved in a way that we don't want to speak up because we always want to conform to what the society wants us to do. Remember, during the olden times, guys, in order for us to survive, we have to conform to what everyone else is doing. And if we go against what everyone does, what usually happens is that we get ostracized. We get left out from the village. We get left out from the tribe. For these reasons, our brains have been evolving in a way that every time we feel what our thoughts and words, and if they might be against other people, we tend to hold back. And we tell to ourselves, if I say this, if I say something different, they might think that I'm against the group. So I'd rather shut up or be silent about it. The second reaction to public speaking, which makes us very fearful, is the idea of previous experience. In psychology, we have what we call as the Zeigarnik effect. The Zeigarnik effect states that we tend to harbor memories that are traumatic and bad. And you know what's the reason for this? Try to guess. No? Yes? Now, when you try to, let's say, for example, burn yourself through a candle, or you got heartbroken by someone else, the tendency of the brain, based on the theory of Zeigarnik effect, is that the brain will store that bad memory. Why? Because the moment it happens again in the future, the brain will remind you not to repeat it again so that you don't get hurt. Now, this is a survival reaction of the body and of the mind. The problem is this: it also applies to public speaking, which means if you're that kind of person who in the past had an experience of, let's say, freezing in front of the stage, or bullied by a group of people when you were saying something, that memory is easily fleshed out when a similar situation happens, and therefore makes your body and mind panic and you end up not speaking at all. In this case, an example would be, the last time I spoke in public, I froze for 10 minutes, and therefore I don't want to speak up again. So again, for a few seconds, ask yourself, does this theory apply to you? And could this be the reason why you are holding back when you want to speak confidently at work? The third theory, which is my favorite because I think it applies to me, is the idea that we are fearful of speaking in public because it's our brain's reaction due to our pattern of thinking. Remember, guys, the reason why human beings are relatively smart compared to the other creatures on Earth is because we're the only creatures who can visualize the future. For example, a dog cannot wish that in the next 5 years, he'll be able to eat something else or be able to live in a nicer house. But human beings can't. We think about our future. We think about getting a job, having a nicer house, getting a car, having a family, and all these things. And therefore, we plan them out in succession. The problem is this: That same ability of being able to visualize the future is the same skill that makes us overthink and over rationalize what could happen next. So, an example for this could be, oh my gosh, I'm about to present tomorrow for my boss, but I feel so stressed because if I don't get this right, I might not get promoted. And so come the night before the presentation, you become sweaty, you become tense, you end up not getting enough sleep. And then come the next day, the presentation doesn't go out really well. This is the reason why, unfortunately, the good things that our brain does to ourselves with the best intentions are not executed in the right manner. Now, as I end this slide, I want you guys to hold an imaginary dart. I want you to pin it on the screen, and I want you to ask yourself, of these three sociological, psychological theories, which of them apply to me the most when it comes to being fearful of public speaking? Now, I won't judge you, don't worry. If you think all three of them apply to you, that's also fine. But the key to becoming a better speaker is understanding what could you do next now that you know that these are the three things that's stopping you. I'll give you an example. The moment you start speaking in front of the public and then you start freezing because your brain reminds you of that traumatic experience when you were a child, the tip I can give to you is to talk to your brain and tell your brain, I know you're only helping me out. I know you're trying to protect me so that I don't get hurt again, but I really need to speak up because I need this for my career or I need this for my success. When you train yourself of becoming self-aware, the moment that instance happens, you also get to control your actions and you take away the autopilot mode of the brain. All right. So now that's done, we're going to proceed with Module 2. If you want to take a rest, hit the pause button, and I'll see you guys in the next round.